lot of Kentucky talk on the channel today. That's what happens when Mark Pope sits down for his longest interview, which he did with Matt Norlander from CBS Sports on their summer shoot-around series. Go watch that full interview. It's awesome. But he was talking strength of schedule. And very poppy quote from Mark Pope on this. I'm going to read the full quote for you here. Mark Pope said this about scheduling at Kentucky. Quote, "We're just so hungry to play every great game we can. I understand that this is Kentucky, right? I think last year we fell a little short. We had the third hardest schedule in the country. We should be number one every year. That's something that's really important to us. We don't have full autonomy in how we do it, but we do the best we can because great games, that's why we play, to play great games." End quote. They had one of the toughest schedules in America last year. They won almost all of their marquee non-conference games. It became the MO of Mark Pope's first team at Kentucky to get up for the big games and win them. And Mark Pope says, we fell a little short playing that schedule last year. We weren't the number one hardest schedule in the country. And for that, that's a failure. Do you like this mentality from Mark Pope? Do you agree with it? What are your thoughts?
I'm a little bit confused what the emphasis on being the number one country coming into the year is every
Number
single year.
one schedule.
Oh, number one schedule. Okay.
This is all about scheduling. He
All
wants to
about
be number
scheduling.
one in strength of schedule.
I mean, I do like that because I don't know. Now I've gotten to a point of the off season, and maybe it's Mark Pope. It's not fatigue because I enjoy talking. I like talking about Kentucky and everything that's going on. But now I think it's getting to a point where I see everything as like a him versus Pat Kelsey thing. And like this is his version of the "we don't duck smoke" comment that Pat Kelsey made.
Like, you think they're kind of going back and forth here? Is that what you're
A,
insinuating? Or
a little bit, or maybe like maybe I don't even know if they're trying to just naturally do it, but um, I mean, look, if I did what Mark Pope in Kentucky did last year, I'd be up for all the big games too.
right.
Like that's where they perform the best in. That's what guys got up for. I wonder if I ask myself this though. They got a lot of players that have already played in big games on the team. I feel like last year the team was made up of guys that really didn't play in that big of games. You know what I'm saying? And they were able to get up for it a little bit more, maybe because it felt like it was a bigger game than it actually was. But like now you got a starting lineup of Owe, Seen It, Denzel Aberdeen, national title. Like Mo Diabate played in the Final Four. I don't know if that actually affects it, but like at least they'll be comfortable in big games. Last year, coming into the year, we're like, oh, these guys are gonna shit the bed in big games. Wake Forest hasn't had a big game since Andrew Carr's been on campus. But like, but it was a complete opposite. Like the guy, like they stepped up and played well. Take Oweh didn't really have big games at Oklahoma, but he had big one. But he had big ones at Kentucky, and he stepped up in those moments. So yeah, I don't know. I do think Mark Pope enjoys big games and big moments, so he knows where his team will thrive best.
Yeah, I don't think there's like an element of will this year's team do better or worse or anything based on like have players played in big games. I think all college basketball players like playing in big games. So even if they've been there before, maybe they're even more comfortable in them, honestly. But like, I don't know, it really is something about playing at Kentucky too that sort of facilitates this, right? Playing in a big game. Honestly, I'm about to disrespect an SEC rival for a moment. Playing in a big game with Alabama on your jersey is a little different than playing in a big game with Kentucky on it,
Oh
isn't
man,
it?
I mean, yeah, it is,
Little,
but well,
little tiny little bit. It is. I'm just saying. And we could name other schools. I'm not going to, but like there are levels to this entire game. I applaud this, Cart. I might want to stand up and get out of my seat and applaud this because look, Mark Pope, I think in a year of covering him, we've learned who he is. And I don't think there's too much about him that is for the cameras or for a bit. But I think he's also learning, or maybe he already knew what Kentucky fans care about. And I don't know that there's anything Kentucky fans care about more, other than winning, than just being the centerpiece of this sport, being the most prestigious team, playing the biggest games. We are Kentucky. It is what comes with all of this. You have to be the team of the sport if you are Kentucky. And you look at what they did last year. Again, we talked about how they won all the games, but looking back on it last season, they had Duke, they had Clemson, they had Gonzaga, they had Louisville, they had Ohio State, which on paper was a big game. All in all, that's a great schedule, right?
Mhm.
Like the idea of them having the third toughest schedule and Mark Pope being like, it wasn't enough. Normally, I would kind of laugh at that and be like, okay, he's just playing this up. But the reality is, they've built a schedule this year that is significantly tougher than last year's. Like, I truly think coming out of last season, even though all those games I just mentioned were on the schedule, I think Mark Pope came out of it and was like, yeah, we could have had two or three more really tough ones. Because look at what he's done this year. Their exhibition game is the preseason number one team in the country. Like even the games that don't count, he's like, give me Purdue and Braden Smith. After that cart, they go at Louisville, Michigan State in Madison Square Garden, North Carolina at Rupp, Gonzaga on a neutral in Tennessee, Indiana at Rupp, St. John's on a neutral in Atlanta. I mean, that's six regular season games that are going to be against top 20-ish teams in the sport, huge brands, eyes everywhere. And then, oh, by the way, yeah, we'll play the number one team too for exhibition purposes. Like, it's a psychopathic schedule. It's going to be the number one schedule in the sport this year. No one else in the sport is trying to schedule like this. So I think Mark Pope has already let his actions do the talking here. And now he's just backing it up with the words. And I think he should. He should own this because I applaud what he's done in 1.5 years as the head coach of Kentucky.
Damn, we do need JQ back
Why?
because of this schedule.
Oh yeah.
Maybe I think we set ourselves up there that we need to get him back for sure. But yeah, I don't know. I think that Kentucky's always going to be Kentucky, right? And Kentucky should play these marquee games. Kentucky should have a tough schedule. You don't want to get to a spot where you are just scheduling cupcakes and things like that. I think one of the things we appreciate about a lot of the teams that we follow is that they do play tough schedules, right? And we're not trying to see a bunch of teams just play a bunch of cupcakes and have a Baylor type non-conference schedule. We want to see somebody have challenge themselves, see good basketball games. So uh, I think Mark Pope is right on par, and I think he's going to continue to schedule like this as long as he's at Kentucky because he's always going to feel good about his team, I think, and he's always going to feel good about going into these big games. So yeah, I think this is kind of the standard of what it's going to be.
Yeah. And if this is the standard, we all win. Thank you, Mark Pope, because I want to watch Kentucky play like 8 incredible non-conference games every year.
Thank you for changing my life, Mark Pope.
Remember how Coach K coached at Duke for like 45 years and never played a true road game against anyone good?
Yeah, and that's the greatest coach in the sport,
Or
greatest to ever
maybe,
do it.
or maybe it's Mark Pope.
Oh wow, okay,
Okay. All right.
that's enough.